Welcome to the PinkpillRx podcast, hosted by Katie and Jay Fillmore, where we navigate complex and thought-provoking topics surrounding women with a focus on education. For shorter form content, follow us on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube at Caters88 or PinkpillRx.
That's KATORS88.
If you enjoy this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.
Today, we're talking about something that's very unladylike, Jay.
I feel like that's sarcasm.
Yeah, we're going to talk about ambitious women.
Ah, there it is. Ambitious women. Love ambitious women.
Do you?
Hope I'm raising them.
The world doesn't like them very much.
Well, I'm not the world, am I?
Unfortunately.
Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, so we're going to talk about some research behind ambition in women. And I'm going to also be reading out of a book called Off With Her Head by Eleanor Herman, which is an excellent book. If you've not read it, I highly recommend it. So it's called Off With Her Head, 3,000 Years of Demonizing Women in Power by Eleanor Herman. But before we jump into her book, let's just talk about the fact that there's a robust body of research that confirms ambitious women faced systematic penalties in professional, political, and social contexts, including being perceived as less likable, more threatening, and less electable or desirable compared to equally ambitious men.
I don't even need to hear the research. I know that is true.
So multiple studies and reviews, including significant work summarized in the Harvard Business Review, has consistently shown that ambitious or assertive women are often penalized with what is known as the likability penalty, or the competence likability trade-off.
Excuse me. Hillary Clinton.
I thought you were legitimately coughing.
I know.
And frankly, I was a little annoyed that you were doing it directly into the microphone.
I bet you were.
Yes, Hillary Clinton. And actually, there's a great example of this with Hillary Clinton that I will refer to in a little bit. So while both men and women value ambition, when women display ambition or ambition-adjacent traits, such as assertiveness, decisiveness, career orientation, things like that, they are judged as less likable, more aggressive, and less fit for leadership, even if they are competent. One 2016 report found that women leaders are 24% less likely than men to receive career-advancing advice with likability concerns affecting their advancement. There's actually a syndrome for this called the tall poppy syndrome that targets high-achieving people, particularly women and minorities, who are punished for their visibility and accomplishments. So it's a social phenomenon where individuals who achieve notable success, again, usually women or people in minorities, especially success in the workplace, are cut down, criticized, resented, or undermined by others because they stand out above their peers. The metaphor originates from the idea that tall poppies in a field are cut down to maintain uniformity. So you don't want to be a tall poppy. They did a whole study on this, Women of Influence, which I believe is out of Canada. They surveyed over 4,700 women across 103 countries. And this is what they found about tall poppy syndrome. According to the study's finding, almost 90%, 86.8% to be exact, of respondents experienced this phenomena at work. When they went into this research, they thought that it must be other women that are mostly cutting down women.
Okay.
But
is that how women are?
That's what they theorized, basically, that many believed that women are most likely to cut down other women because of their success and ambitions. But the data told a different story. So the tall poppy study found that men in leadership positions were more likely to penalize or undermine women due to their success. Women, on the other hand, were more likely to cut down peers or colleagues or talk about them. Men would do things specifically to undermine.
To hinder?
To hinder their advancement. Versus women would verbally cut down, which both had negative side effects. I mean, psychologically, mental health wise, with work satisfaction, all of that, right? 77% of respondents had their achievements downplayed. 72.4% of respondents were left out of meetings and discussions or were ignored.
Shoot.
70.7% said that they were undermined because of their achievements. 68.3% said they had their achievements just dismissed. 66.1% said others took credit for their work.
I wonder how many people that took credit for their work were men.
Yeah, because the Matilda effect, that's another saying, because that is what, like in science and stuff, men stealing women's work is called the Matilda effect.
Really?
Yes, because it's an actual thing that happens and is known to have happened.
Whoa, okay. There's an episode we gotta do.
Yeah. 69.5% of respondents agreed that being cut down impacted their productivity. Nearly one half of all tall poppies said it had impacted their desire to apply for a promotion. 64.7% said they had lower self-esteem and lower self-confidence because of it. 60.3% said they downplay or don't share their achievements anymore. And 46% say that they have negative self-talk due to these experiences.
What strikes me with that is that there are very real consequences. The men and women who hinder, there's obviously very real consequences professionally for these women who are considered tall poppies. But you're not just affecting the career of a woman. You're affecting the woman herself psychologically, it sounds like.
Yes, yeah.
Like you're actually affecting a human being in a very deep self-perception type of way.
Yeah.
That's awful. Not that the former isn't awful too, but...
Right. If you're in a room with people and your accomplishments feel like bragging, those people are not for your success.
Yeah, because they should be hyping you up.
Yes. And you should not be feeling like you're bragging. Now we're shifting back to just like general research. This isn't the tall poppy study anymore. But unmarried or single women in particular often tone down behaviors and like ambition or assertiveness at work due to concerns about being seen as unattractive or undesirable by potential partners or colleagues.
Man, it's hard to be a woman.
In studies of MBA graduates, 64% of single women reported having avoided actions like asking for a raise or promotion to avoid seeming pushy, compared to 27% of men.
I'm not surprised. God, it's so hard to be a woman in any area, truly, but professionally, geez.
And can you imagine being a woman who's a minority?
Oh, no. That's like double burden.
Like when I read any of this stuff, I'm just like, I can't even wrap my head around how hard that has to be.
Yeah.
To live in the world
that
we live in today as a woman who's a minority.
It's even harder for me to imagine because I have to imagine being a woman and a minority.
Yeah.
I cannot. I've got no clue. I have no clue. I have zero clue.
Yeah. And I think that's
a lot of
good place. I mean, good place to start learning is knowing that you don't know anything.
I think a lot of guys, and particularly white guys, we just got to admit to ourselves, we have no clue. We have no clue, dude. We have no clue. I've got no clue what that's like.
Yeah.
Any of it.
So I'm going to shift a little bit to the book that I was talking about, Off With Her Head, because she has some really great points about this whole thing. In 2010, researchers at Yale University conducted an experiment to measure public reaction to power-seeking candidates. Respondents were given the biographies of a hypothetical male and female senator with equivalent experience and qualifications and no mention whatsoever of political affiliation. In some biographies, the woman candidate was described as one of the most ambitious politicians, and in others, the man was described that way. Strangely, both male and female respondents were less likely to vote for an ambitious female candidate and more likely to vote for an ambitious male candidate. So even, if you were a woman and you were reading about another woman being ambitious, you were less likely to vote for her.
Nah.
The researchers delved into the reasons for the respondents' answers, Why did they dislike ambitious female candidates? Seeking power, they found, did not fit the mold of an acceptable woman who should be warm, caring, and sympathetic. The intention to gain power may signal to others that she is an aggressive and selfish woman who does not espouse feminine values. Some voters even felt more contempt and disgust towards women when they expressed an interest in power, like there was something wrong or repulsive about their lack of feminine qualities.
Can I see that page?
Yes.
I have some questions. Okay. So apparently being ambitious or seeking power is what? Mutually exclusive with being warm or caring or sympathetic? You can't be both?
No, you can't, apparently.
That's news to me. I didn't know that. I didn't know you can't be warm, caring, and sympathetic and want power. I don't know, to maybe to carry out things that are positive for other people.
Yeah.
What the heck? Like, I want a woman in office because I think she's going to be more altruistic in her care for others. I just do. I think women are better at it. I think women are naturally women are naturally morally better than men. Don't know why, and I don't have any data to back it up. That's just my take on the world. And so I think very much so that a woman can be ambitious and want power. And I think if a woman has power, she's going to put forth policies and, executive orders or whatever. They're going to be more beneficial to a wider swath of the population. So I don't think they're mutual. So that's weird. That's weird. The other thing that was here that you read was, want power, you're selfish. You don't know why she wants power. Who knows why she's ambitious? What's her why? You know what I mean? People want power for different reasons.
It's interesting that the man doesn't have to answer to that.
Yeah, right.
Well, that's a natural thing. Men want power. That's fine. That's not suspicious at all.
That hasn't, wrecked things. I mean,
for millennia?
You point to any political policy that is harmful, Citizens United, trickle-down economics, just to give a couple of examples. What gender made these things happen? The Supreme Court justices who ruled on Citizens United back when Obama was president, what percent of those justices were men? Was it 8 out of 9? 7 out of 9? I mean, it was men who voted on it. And then trickle-down economics was Reagan, who's a dude. If you point to any policies that you think have wrecked the trajectory of our country, there's a dude. What the heck?
We don't like those kind of patterns.
Okay, there's one other thing from here. Some voters even felt more contempt and disgust. It's not funny. It's very angering, but it just seems ridiculous towards women when they expressed an interest in power, like there was something wrong or repulsive about their lack of feminine qualities. Again, with it being considered mutually exclusive for ambition or desire for power with something that is inherent to being feminine. It's so weird.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
You guys are weird.
You had mentioned Hillary Clinton earlier.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that when Hillary Clinton was being quote unquote a good girl and she was the first lady, right? And she was supporting her husband, she had a 67% approval rating. That dipped down into the 40s when she sought to reform healthcare over the next 18 months.
I remember people talking about Hillary Clinton in healthcare.
An effort that many believed was a power grab by an ambitious but unelected woman. Her approval ratings, however, soared back up to 67% in 1998 when she was seen as the long-suffering wife of a philandering husband. Finally, she was playing a suitably traditional female role again. When still in the role of First Lady in 2000, Clinton announced her run for New York State Senate. And her ratings fell to the mid-40s again.
Jeez.
She really proved herself on the campaign trail. And she ended up winning, though, with 55% of the vote. And then when she was reelected, she got reelected. She had 67% of the vote upon her reelection.
Wow. They must have liked what she did.
Yeah. So that
says a lot, going from 55% of the vote for your first term to 67% for your second term. Yeah. They liked you. They liked how you performed in office.
So Clinton told NBC News that the more a woman is in service to someone else, the more likable she is. At the State Department, she was in service to her country and in service to her president. But when a woman walks into the arena and says, I'm going to try this for myself, it really does have a dramatic effect on how people perceive you. Her yo-yo ratings reflect public approval when she is serving the nation, just as they love women who serve coffee and sandwiches, and how that approval quickly turns to disgust when a woman sets down the coffee pot and runs for executive office. In her election memoir, Clinton wrote, I never stopped getting asked, why do you want to be the president? Why? But really, why? The implication was that there must be something else going on, some dark ambition and craving for power. Nobody psychoanalyzed Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, or Bernie Sanders about why they ran. It was just accepted as normal. The other thing is when she was running for president, they couldn't focus on like the classic, well, how is she going to be a mother and also be the president?
Mm-hmm.
So instead, the news would focus on how is she going to be a grandmother because Chelsea was pregnant.
Oh my gosh.
How is she going to balance her grandmotherly duties and also be the president?
Oh my gosh, grasping.
But yet, you had freaking, what's his name? Mitt Romney that had like 1 million grandchildren.
Yeah, no one's talking about
that.
No
one's asking questions about him.
Yeah.
How is he going to balance being a grandfather and the president? It's insanity.
Yeah, very archaic. The wheel of change turns slowly.
Something that they did find, though, in different studies is there was an exception. They found an exception to the rule.
Oh, this is going to be fascinating.
For ambitious women.
Okay.
That ambitious women, historically speaking, are accepted if they are placed there by divine power.
Like a queen?
Like a queen. Or like they didn't want it, but they must do it because this is the calling that's been put on their lives. Or their husbands died, and so now they're a widow that has been put in a position of power because her husband passed away. They found that the only likable, probably female president would be one who doesn't seem to want the job for herself. She must convince voters that while competent, she is not power hungry and selfish. Her ambition, if she has such a horrible thing, must be to help people as any good mother would. At the very least, female candidates would appeal to more voters if they stress that their ambitions are merely to be of service, insist they are just happy to even be considered, talk about all the luck they've had leading up to this, and how many people have helped them along the way. To really seal the deal, they can, talk about the calling or how they didn't want to do this, but this is where they're at. So like literally, like seriously, like successful prime ministers who are females. Some of the most successful ones were placed there because the nation called for it because they were popular for some other reason.
So the issue really isn't women in power, it's women wanting power? Or their perception of women wanting power?
Yes.
Okay.
So as long, and it makes me think of the Erica Kirk situation.
Oh.
Because she has been welcomed with open arms, which is ironic to me because of the messaging of Charlie Kirk's entire platform about where women belong, like in the home, in like a traditional sense. But then you have a widow who was kind of divinely, placed in this position and is accepted by all that she is there and the rightful heir to the dynasty.
Wow. So if President Biden would have died in office and then Kamala Harris would become president, what do you think? Would that have been more of this like accepted way?
Oh, it would have been more accepted than her running, I think.
Yeah.
MIT did a thing. They did a thing. whatever.
Might delete later.
Yeah, no. Research, they summarized research, MIT did, where they explained that the leader identity, something called the leader identity and competence paradox, where women are actually more effective than men across several leadership metrics, yet consistently resist labeling themselves as leaders. And this tension can, in practice, make women's rise to leadership seem more legitimate to colleagues because women are not calling themselves leaders. So they kind of sneak in. And when it's framed as duty or circumstance rather than personal aspiration, there's a result of greater acceptance. So again, back to the Erica Kirk thing. This idea of circumstance or duty, right, versus personal aspiration makes it more palatable to the masses.
Yeah.
In many cases, women seen as serving a higher purpose, such as being called by God or promoting the common good, elicit positive evaluations, especially in religious, nonprofit, or crisis leadership situations. Historical examples include women activists or saints where self-sacrifice rather than ambition was central to their rise in status. The phenomenon is deeply connected to gender stereotypes where women have long been expected to appear humble, communal, or naturally drawn to service rather than power. So they avoid the backlash men rarely face for ambition. Women who reluctantly take the helm, of a family business after a spouse's death, or political leadership after community demand or divine calling, consistently show that they are viewed more authentic and are subject to less resistance than those who campaign.
Unless they're less fake and people think they're less fake.
Yes, because they're not announcing their intentions.
Ironically.
But if you announce your intentions...
Being the most authentic you can be.
Yes, if you're honest about it...
Oh, no, you're not authentic.
No. Yeah, female leaders who publicly downplay their ambition reinforce their motives as moral or selfless, or highlight external pressure to accept the role, are less likely to be seen as threatening or unlikable. And this is documented many places. This is not just a one-off study. This is also historical. It's interesting in this Off With Her Head book because she goes on to talk about women in leadership and stuff and how they're chastised for their appearance as well.
Mm-hmm.
How men naturally are rarely chastised for how they look.
I mean, who was that prime minister in England? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Boris. She uses that as an example. Boris Johnson's hair. Boris Johnson's hair resembles a bale of straw battered by a tornado. His jackets are wrinkled and his shirt's untucked, his collar's curled and lopsided, and his ties are askew, revealing a short, limp tongue of material underneath. Did his appearance diminish public faith in his ability to steer the nation? Not at all. According to the New York Times columnist Vanessa Friedman, his fashion faux pas somehow became badges of credibility that bridged the class gap.
You know what? He just is who he is.
He was relatable. It made him relatable.
Oh my gosh. But then one hair out of place with a female politician.
Yes.
It's is she okay? She looks so tired.
Right.
And then, you know what? Minorities too. They fried Obama for that tan suit.
Yes.
Gosh.
And they found, research has shown that any mention at all, even if it's a positive mention about a woman's clothing or appearance, politically speaking, even if they say something positive, it diminishes her in the eyes of the public.
Yeah, that's right. You told me that before. It makes her more about her presentation than it does her substance.
Yeah. In 2013, Name It, Change It, a joint project of the Women's Media Center and She Should Run, an organization dedicated to helping women explore running for public office, released the results of a survey of 1,500 U.S. voters nationwide, along with a sample of 100 young women aged 18 to 35, in which they looked at a hypothetical congressional race between Jane Smith and Dan Jones. Survey respondents read a profile of each candidate along with sample news stories covering their positions on an education bill, The articles about Jane Smith included either a positive, negative, or neutral description of her appearance, or no description at all. Naturally, the negative description resulted in a lower rating. An example of what one of the negative things they said was, Smith unfortunately sported a heavy layer of foundation and powder that had settled into her forehead lines, creating an unflattering look for an otherwise pretty woman, along with her famous fake tacky nails. But the neutral description also resulted in a negative impression among respondents. The example of this was Jane Smith dressed in a brown blouse, black skirt, and modest pumps with a short heel. Surprisingly, even a flattering portrait of a female candidate lowered her in the voters' esteem. So the description was fit and attractive and looks even younger than her age. So even though that was complimentary, it hurt the voters' perception.
But if nothing was said, there's what, no dip in...
Yes, if nothing was said, there was no dip.
But then you got Boris.
You got Boris, you got Bernie Sanders.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's totally fine to be disheveled. But yet, do you remember how much they talked about what Hillary Clinton wore?
Yeah.
And about her...
And about her, even just her face?
Yes.
Or her hair?
Her hair, her face. How much...
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, gosh, what was it?
And
there was...
masking she had to do?
No, there was... Hillary Clinton... She wrote it, I think, in her memoir, how many days she lost on the campaign due to hair and makeup.
Oh, like the amount of time it took?
Yes. Like the hours and days, like if you were like accumulate it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find it. But she was saying that like it's an unfair advantage for men because men don't spend that much time in hair and wardrobe and makeup or that much time having like to make the decision of like what would be the most appropriate thing to wear that's not going to discredit you. I mean, they wear a suit with the colored tie that is their political affiliation.
Yeah, there's not a lot going on there. That's interesting. Yeah, just the mental load of everything.
Women are not given the chances that they deserve. Rather, they're tall poppies, or they wear pantsuits and people don't like it.
Dude, it's just freaking clothes.
Or they don't like how much they spent on their clothes.
Right. Let's talk about President Trump's ballroom.
Yeah, right.
Get the F out.
What are you talking about? He needs that.
Sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Meanwhile, it's $100 to fill up my van today.
Ugh. You know, I remember like 2008, 2009. Gas prices were like I was working at Walmart. Gas prices were like $4.29, $4.49. Never seen it higher than that until now.
I remember being young, and I do remember gas prices being 93 and 94 cents.
No way. I don't remember that. I remember 119 is the lowest I remember.
I do remember that. I mean, I was not driving, but I was young, and I remember. But I remember them complaining about the gas prices then.
Next thing you know, it's going to be over $1.
No, literally, yes. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
And then over $2 was huge. And then, $3.
$4 was insane. People losing their minds.
$4 is insane.
Oh, yeah. I'm not saying it's not. But like, I remember the first time it's over $4. And that's for us in Illinois. California?
Yeah.
Some of these other states that are a lot higher, more taxes on it.
Other countries too are really having a hard time.
Yeah.
Not just here.
You know what? People always said thanks Obama. Why are we not saying thanks Trump?
True.
Thanks Trump.
I don't know. That's all I have for us today. I just wanted to talk about just about that and how infuriating that is and how we need to support ambitious women. And ambitious women doesn't mean there's anything wrong with them.
Yeah. You're making a judgment that ambition equals to selfishness, which isn't, it obviously, that's silly, and I don't think there's data to support that. At least not for women specifically. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so next time you're tempted to cut down a tall poppy, don't do it. Water it. Build it up. We don't have to be uniform. Or next time you see a woman that doesn't look perfectly put together, it's okay.
Don't care about it.
Don't care about it. You didn't see it.
Just think of Boris.
Just think of Boris. Think of Bernie. If they can do it, she can do it too. That's all I got.
I hope for those of you listening, something was intriguing or sparked a curiosity, or you felt affirmed or challenged. Stay educated. Take the pink pill. If you enjoyed this podcast, please give us a follow and maybe a nice review.